So as you can see guys, right now we are going to start this analysis by looking at the price action of Bitcoin in a weekly time frame. Later in this video we are also going to talk about this price structure in a daily time frame with different scenarios, 4-hour time frame, and also here in a hourly time frame, because right now if you monitor this price structure in a whole, the price of Bitcoin is flashing a very interesting scenario. So that's why we are going to start this by looking at this price action of Bitcoin in a weekly time frame. And also guys, I would really appreciate if you could just take 2 seconds of your time and smash the like button. And for those individually watching this for the first time, please hit that subscribe button and the bell. So now looking at this price structure here in a weekly time frame, right now if you include this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, inside this logarithmic growth curve we do have some different Fibonacci level. As you can see, right, I have colored it differently so that it's easy for you to understand. So right now in a weekly time frame, one of the most important support line is this 38.20 Fibonacci level. Why this 38.20 is one very important line to hold in a weekly time frame? Because you can see here, if we just follow this green line, when the price of Bitcoin had this really nice impulsive move, we had this corrective move, and this corrective move ended exactly after reaching this 38.20% Fibonacci level. And after that we saw a really nice bounce here to the upside. And now if you simply just follow this green line, you can see guys, also here in 2019 when the price of Bitcoin had this really nice impulsive move, which trend line acted as the strongest resistance, this green line, which was the 38.20% Fibonacci level. And you can see we tried twice but was unable to break out of it, and after that we saw this actual reversal. And when the price was showing this bearish scenario, you can see it started consolidating, because this green line was a very important line of support when the price was in a downtrend. But once we were rejected, we couldn't find support, and then we saw this massive correction. But the Fibonacci level of 38.20 did try its best to hold the price. And you can see here, same line when we had this price pullback acted as a support, and then we had this really nice bounce to the upside. But before we saw this pullback or also this bounce here, you can see the same line acted as a resistance. So if you go backward here from 2013, 2014, you can see this Fibonacci line has always been one very important line of support and resistance. So right now for us in a weekly time frame, at any cost the price has to stay above this 38.20% Fibonacci level, that is at 35,170 price level. So if we are going to find support above it, that could indicate, hey, we could also expect some sort of a move here towards this next Fibonacci line, that is around 43,734. But failing to hold this Fibonacci level could indicate a potential downward price movement, which could bring us again to test the next Fibonacci level in a weekly time frame, that is sitting around 26,862 price level, and that is the 23.61% Fibonacci level. So if you look at this now in a daily time frame, we are aware the price of Bitcoin is showing a lot of weakness, because I showed you on my yesterday's video, whenever you see this 21 exponential moving average crossing over 50 exponential moving average, this red line is the 50 exponential moving average and the green line is the 21 exponential moving average. Whenever we have seen an actual trend reversal, I mean a bigger price correction, right, 3 confirmation was required. First one was this bearish crossover, right, 21 exponential moving average crossing over the 50 exponential moving average. The RSI line was also below 50 level. So we had 2 confirmation from indicator that the trend is weakening. And not just only these 2 indicator, but also here the T3CCI is in negative territory. So 3 indicator pointing out the trend here is weak, and we could see some sort of a pullback type of scenario. And this is exactly what we are witnessing right now in a daily time frame, because if you go backward, right, I also showed you different scenarios. This was also a bearish crossover, but if you look to the downside, the RSI here was actually flashing a bullish momentum, and it was heading towards this 50 level, right? You can see here the RSI line jumped above 50 level. So now this indicator actually showed, hey, this is a bearish crossover, but the RSI was actually showing a bullish momentum. And also this T3CCI, after a few days, you can see started heading towards positive territory. So this bearish crossover was invalid, right? But if you go back here and look at this one from 2020 March, bearish crossover, yes. RSI below 50 level, yes. And also the T3CCI in a negative territory, yes. 3 indicators, 1, 2, 3 indicated the trend here does looks weak, and we could see some reversal. And this is exactly what we witnessed here in 2020 as well. And also if you go back here, when we had another crossover, which was here from September 2019. When we had this crossover, you can see RSI started going below 50 level, and also this T3 CCI indicator appeared in a negative territory. So this also indicated, hey, now we could see some price pullback. And look at this, the price of Bitcoin did saw very nice correction, right? So that's why right now in a daily time frame, these three scenarios indicators are actually pointing out the trend here is weak, right? The trend of Bitcoin is weak in a daily time frame. So that's why we have to be very, very careful here in a daily time frame, because I just showed you here in a weekly time frame that at any cost we have to stay above this 38.20 Fibonacci level, that is at 35,170 price level. So in a daily time frame, another bearish scenario is also appearing, which is known as distribution phase from Wyckoff. And according to this distribution phase from Wyckoff, now since the price here got a rejection before even retesting the previous line of support, right, that was between this 43 to 45,000, we got a rejection. And we also heard some rumors yesterday that China was actually cracking down on mining and trading cryptocurrencies. So that also impacted the market very, very negatively, as you can see here, right? So in a daily time frame, the trend of Bitcoin does look weak. In a weekly time frame, we have to hold this Fibonacci level of 38.20, that is around 35,170 price level. And in a 4-hour time frame, we are aware the price here has now already left the support from this monthly S2 line that was around 38,700 price level. As I have said you on my previous video, at any cost here in a 4-hour time frame, we have to remain above this 38,000. But now, since the price of Bitcoin has already failed, so this could actually indicate, hey, now the same line 38,000 could be acting as a very, very strong resistance, and we could see potential price pullback here to the downside. So according to this CPR, right now in a 4-hour time frame, the lower price target is going to be around 30,400 price level, because this is the lowest what price of Bitcoin could go here in the May month. So I'm actually expecting, if we are going to see any sort of a pullback, then this is going to be one very, very great place to look for any long opportunities, because here in a weekly time frame, the next possible downward target is going to be this 23.61 Fibonacci level, that is around 26,862 price level. So now in a smaller time frame, 30,400 would be the downward price target if the trend here gets rejection again from this 38,000 price level. If you monitor this price around here in a smaller time frame, let's switch that into hourly time frame. So now in an hourly time frame, what we can do, guys, is we can simply add this descending channel type of scenario that might be playing out for Bitcoin at this current stage, because we are aware whenever we have seen this price pullback, right, you can see the upper line played as a very, very important line of resistance, and lower line played as a very, very important line of support, right? So you can see, but the important takeaway from this price movement or this scenario is that every time the price of Bitcoin broke out of this support line here inside this descending channel, then we had this price pullback, right? We broke out of this line, we had this price pullback. Again, similar scenario unfolded here. You can see here, when we broke out of this support line again, right, just like here, consolidation, this line acted as support. Once we broke out of this support, we saw a massive price correction. Again, similar scenario is also going to be looked here. I mean, again, with this trend line, right, just like with the previous example, and we also want at any cost the price here to stay above this support line, which is at 35,000 price level. And that's why 35,000 here also in a Fibonacci level, this line is a very, very important line. That's why I was saying you that. So right now, if you look at this here, at any cost, we have to stay above this 35 also here in a smaller time frame, because if this is going to continue, right, then we might see some impulsive move that could bring us again around this upper line area of this descending channel. That could be around 39,800, 40,000 price level. But getting rejection or also failing to hold this support line could actually bring us again towards the lower price target, what this weekly time frame and also here in a 4-hour time frame is actually flashing us. So that's why in a smaller time frame, we want the price here to stay over 35,000, because breaking below 35,000 could lead to some very, very bearish scenario for Bitcoin. So right now here, as you can see, the price here, the price of Bitcoin might be forming this very nice double bottom type of scenario here in a smaller time frame. So that's why I was saying that if we break out of this neckline, that's going to be around 37,800, right? Then we could see some impulsive move that could bring us again around this 40,000 price level. But be careful, guys. If we get any sort of rejection and price also fail to find support at this 35,000, then we could see some very corrective price movement. So these are some of the scenarios I see right now looking at the price action of Bitcoin. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful enough. If that's the case, then please hit the like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.